Let me get out, or let's see. I have to close some application here. Close some application here.
Yeah, now we can see you.
Okay, so we will read mantra number 17. We are towards the end.
Yeah, now we can see you.
Okay, so we will, I can see, read mantra number 17. We are towards the end. Okay, I'm seeing something cool. Okay, so these are very mantra 17. Let me see. It's a fervent prayer to the Lord. Did we do 1 minute? Last time we did mantra 16. As far as I remember. Yeah, so mantra 17. Vayuranilam amritam. Vayu is, what is Vayu?
Wind.
Air, Prabhuji.
Air, wind. Anila is? Anala.
When I can see the Anila means reservoir.
Fire.
Fire. Bhumi apo anala vayu.
Oh, upon it. Yeah.
Anala. Anala, I think it's anilam. But here it says anilam is total reservoir of air. So Vayu is air of life. Bhumi apo anala vayu. What is that? Bhumi is earth. Apa is water. Bhumi, earth, water. Anala, but this is not anala, this is anila. So it's different. Okay. Vayur anilam amritam. Amritam means not dying. Mritam means dying, indestructible. Athedam, atha and idam becomes athedam. Now this air of life and total reservoir of air. Basmantam. Basma is to burn, like in ashes, after being burned to ashes. Shariram, this body. Om, O Lord. Krato. So this is repeating. Krato smara, kritam smara. Krato smara, kritam smara. It's repeating twice. So krato is referring to the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and kritam means whatever I have done. Kritam. Smara, remember. Please remember, please remember. O Lord, O beneficiary of all sacrifices, O enjoyer of all sacrifices. Please remember, please remember. How many times it's saying? Krato smaram, kritam smara. Krato smara, kritam smara. Twice this phrase is repeating. Please remember all that is done by me. Please remember all that is done by me. O supreme beneficiary, O supreme beneficiary. So he's saying, let this temporary body be burned to ashes. Let the air of life be merged with totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices. And because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. So the body will burn today or tomorrow to ashes. And earth element will mix with earth, water element will mix with earth, with water, like that. So earth, water, fire, air, ether. Of course, while we have the body, it's valuable. We don't want to die. Right? So there are three categories, right? We say karmi, Then next category is
Jnanis,
Jnanis
Bhaktas.
and Bhaktas. Karmis want to enjoy the body. So they want to, they are very much attached to the body for enjoyment. The Jnanis, they understand that the soul they discriminate between matter and spirit. So they say, oh, this body is useless. Ultimately, it's useless because it gives us so much trouble. The body that we want to enjoy will one day give us so much trouble. So they think, no, this body is useless. I should not be attached to this body. It is useless. And there are many verses like that in the Bhagavatam also, which says one who identifies with this body, which is made up of three elements, yasyatma buddhi guna petri dhatuke, like that. But ultimately, what is this body? This body is a bag of bile, mucus, and air. So, karmis want to enjoy, jnanis want to become detached from the body. And then bhaktas, they know we have a body. And the body is Krishna's energy. And because it is Krishna's energy, it should be used to serve Krishna while we have it. So it's like you have a car, right? You have a car. You have to change the oil in your car because car can be used to go to the temple. So you can change the oil in your car. But you are not the car. While taking care of the car, you should always remember you are not the car. But car is just a tool that I use to serve the Lord. So similarly, the bhakta, he knows that everything belongs to the Lord. And all the body should be used in the service of the Lord. And who used all the senses in the service of the Lord? Which devotee? We say.
Ambrish Maharaj.
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambrish Maharaj. Save mana Krishna padaravindayo vachanshi vaikuntha gunanu varnane karor harir mandira marjan dishu shrutim chakarachuta satkathodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane drisho, like that. Whole verse goes like this. Tad pritya gatra sparsha anga sangamam rasanam granam saroja, like that, something like that. So, and then what our mind should be used, Savai Manna Krishna Padaravindayo. Mind should be used to think of Krishna and Krishna's service. Then our hands should be used for cleaning the temple of the Lord. Our eyes should be used to see the beautiful form of the Lord. Our ears should be used in hearing about Krishna. Our feet should be used in walking to the holy places of the Lord. Our head in bowing down before the Lord. Our desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. Our nose in smelling the beautiful fragrant flowers offered to the Lord. And our tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves that are offered to the Lord. So in this way, all the senses, I think we covered everything in that verse. And our body in serving the body of the devotees of the Lord. So, we can use our body to do service, which can be, to help, to cook for the devotees or to carry out their orders, like we go out and distribute books. So we use our body. So like that, everything should be used. So that is perfect devotional service. So that is the mentality of a bhakta. So it is called, what is called Yukta Vairagya, where we don't renounce anything, but we know that everything belongs to Krishna. And so without being attached, we used everything to serve Krishna. So here he's saying that, yeah, please remember, we have to tell the Lord, you remember, please remember all my sacrifices. Does the Lord ever forget what anybody does for him?
No.
Then why is he saying, please remember all my sacrifices? And because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you.
It's a prayer, right? we can say to the Lord that you remember, but of course, Krishna is remembering everything.
Yes, Krishna knows everything. Krishna is remembering. He doesn't have to be reminded. But from our side, yeah, it gives prayer. Sometimes say, why do you do prayer? Prayer means Krishna knows everything about you. If you're in difficulty, we pray to the Lord. Krishna, please help me in this. But Krishna, being all knowing, he knows everything, your situation and everything he knows. But by prayer also, we increase our dependence on the Lord, right? When we pray like that, oh Krishna, you are our consciousness. That's why Vandanam is there. Vandanam means you are praying to the Lord. So now Lord is in your consciousness. It's like you're connecting with the Lord. It's a one-on-one with the Lord. So Vandanam is in that sense, it's very important. But Prabhupada writes in one purport in the Bhagavatam that the difference between Sakama and Akama devotees. What is the difference? The Sakama means devotees with. What do you mean Sakama devotee? Can you explain? Let's see. Let's ask who's Braj Kishori Mataji. What is Sakama devotees? Okay, Sita Vallabhi. Sakama devotees. What is the meaning of Sakama devotees? Sa means with.
Like devotee with desires,
Yeah, devotee with material desires.
material desires.
And Akama devotee means devotee without material desires. So we are mostly devotees with material desires. I mean, I'm not talking about, sorry, I'm not talking about like you all, but I'm saying myself. So, yeah. So Sakama devotees, whenever they have difficulties, and who are the examples of Sakama devotees? The demigods, like Indra. Whenever they are in difficulty, they pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, please remove me with my difficulty because I'm in difficulty. And why do we pray? Because we want something. There may be an obstacle to our enjoyment in this world, some sense enjoyment. So we pray to the Lord, can you please remove this obstacle if I have a health issue or if something is not working out, then. But Prabhupada says, Sakama devotees pray to the Lord whenever there is a difficulty, as soon as there is difficulty. But Akama devotees, they never ask the Lord for anything. So I'll even if they are in difficulty, and this is in one purport to the Bhagavatam. It is in 6.940. The difference between Sakama and Akama devotees is that when Sakama devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Whereas Akama devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits. Even if an Akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agrees to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. Sakama devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty. But they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jikyasu ardhardi jnanishya bharatarshava. Krishna says, oh, they are udara, they are very magnanimous souls who come to me. So, okay, so this is some prayer saying that, please remember that all I have done for you. Because at the time of death, we are going to leave this world. So it's a very difficult situation. So at that time, we need the Lord most, right? So, okay. Even does this remind you of any other prayer or by any acharya like that, who says,
Who was there to say that at the time of my death, my throat will choked up with
Kulashekar Alvar. Kulashekar.
Kulashekar, yeah.
Shekhar Alvar. Yeah,
This
Prabhupada was
one.
famous. He quoted this prayer many times. Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Adyeva me Vishatu Manas Rajahansaha Prana Prayana Samaye Kaphavata Pitte Kantavarodhana Vidau Smaranam Kutaste. Oh Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower-like feet, just as the flamingo enters into the labyrinth of the lotus flower stems. When at the moment of my last breath, my throat becomes constricted by the action of bodily humors, air, bile, and phlegm. How will I be able to remember you? So my throat, kantha, avarodhana, there'll be difficulty in breathing. How can I remember you? And it is very important because at that time, whatever you think, Krishna says, wherever your mind goes, that's where you're going. But if we can't remember Krishna, then Krishna will remember us. That is also there. One devotee asked the Lord, what if at the time of death we cannot remember you? Then Krishna will remember us. So he's saying here, please remember, if I can't remember you at the time of leaving this world, please remember all that I've done for you, all the holy names I chanted, all the service I did. Please remember, oh Krishna. So like that. There is a prayer like that. So, and there'll be more prayers coming up. So 1 minute. So we can look at the flow of this purport. 1 minute. Pull up my library and the Ishopnishad. Here we come. Right. This is mantra number 16. Or 17 rather. Maybe we'll read the purport. The art of dying. So Vayuranilam Amritam, let the air of life be merged with totality of air. Let this temporary body. So what we have air element, let it be merged with the air. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes. O Lord, avenger of sacrifice and ultimate beneficiary, please remember all my sacrifices. Please remember. This verse describes the Jiva's prayer at the time of death with full consciousness of one's past deeds and of the ultimate goal. Intentions of the praying Jiva. So why is he praying? To transcend the body and material world, to enter the Lord's spiritual kingdom. Wants to get out because of her attachment. The subtle body is still attached to this material body. So, and there are desires. So Krishna gives another body. But we want to transcend this body and the attachment to this body. So to transcend the body and the material world, to enter the Lord's spiritual kingdom. Please remember. Why remember? So that I can go back to you. To remind the Lord of one's sincere services and sacrifices. But even if there is no such reminder, the Lord does not forget a pure devotee's service. To be liberated from the material world by reminding the Lord of one's prescribed duties as brahmachari and grihastha since childhood. It is not offered in pure bhakti, but jnana mishra bhakti, which is a door for pure service. Such a prayer establishes that spiritual jiva exists even after the destruction of the material body. Means inherent in this prayer is that I will survive death and I will be going to my next destination. O mind which has a strong will, please help me remember the Lord. Remember what is worthy of remembrance since death is approaching. So mind is very strong also. Okay, so let's read the purport and we'll come back to this. So giving up the material body. First part describes giving up the material body, which is a foreign dress. The temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. And we get our dress, our body, based on our desires. Like why we dress up for a wedding, right? If there's a wedding, then you dress up yourself for a wedding. You dress according to the occasion, right? If you're going to get your degree, then you have a certain kind of dress. You're dressed up for the occasion, right? When you go to bed, you have night dress, right? They say we don't wear office dress generally and go to bed. We change our dress, we change into a little easier casual dress. So like that, our body is a dress which is given to us based on our desires. Shrotram chakshum sparshanam cha rasanam granam evacha adhisthaya manasyayam vishayan upasevate. In the 15th chapter, Krishna is saying, according to the desires in the mind, you get your ears or your eyes, your nose, and your tongue. So that is why we say there are 8,400,000 species of life. Because everybody, living entity, can desire in so many ways. Supposing I want to sleep without any obstacle. So frogs hibernate, I think frogs hibernate, polar bear hibernates. So you can get a body like that. If you want to have sense gratification, sex enjoyment, very, very much desire, then you can get what body? Prabhupada says, very much, if you're very inclined to sex life, then you get the body of a
Pig.
huh?
Pig.
Dog?
Pigeon.
Oh, pigeon.
Pigeon.
Pigeon. Okay, so if you want to eat meat, then what body is suitable?
Tiger.
Tiger.
Tiger, yeah, lion, like that. So our dress is based on whatever we desire. If we desire that we want to be with Krishna, then we will get a spiritual body. So the Bhagavad Gita 2.20 clearly states that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated. What is that phrase? One line. After the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated.
Ajayate mriyate.
But I'm just saying,
Hanate and Hanamana Sariri.
na hanyate hanyamanish.
Mani sarire.
We'll come to Bhagavad Gita, then all these verses will come. Nor does he lose his identity. So, yeah, means we will take the identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. So we'll take we have a personality. We take that desire, subtle desires. On the contrary, it is the material dress that is formless and that takes a shape according to the form of the indestructible person. So according to our desires, we get a dress. No living entity is originally formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. So we are not without form. We have a form, but in the material world, the spiritual form is not manifest because we are not serving Krishna. We don't need the spiritual form here. Here we need material form to carry out our material desires. That's why the spiritual form is compressed within the soul, which is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. So that spiritual form is there. But when the soul goes back to the spiritual world to serve Krishna, then that spiritual form is again manifest. So originally we have a spiritual form, but because it is not needed here, it is not manifest. Or if you serve Krishna, then what your spiritual form is manifest, right? You come to know who you are in the spiritual world. That is called Swarup.
Siddhi. Swarupa siddhi.
Swarup Siddhi. Yes. So you will know when you become purified, you will know. Like we know the identities of so many acharyas, who they are in the spiritual world. So that is how we have, see, we have many senses. We have material body, we have senses, we have eyes, and then mind also has eyes and ears. Like if you close your eyes, but in your mind you can see so many things. You can feel, right? So many things you can imagine with your mind, and you can, like, so the mind has senses, the gross body has senses, and the soul also has senses. But those senses are covered by the subtle and gross senses. So when both of them dissolve, subtle and gross senses, then the spiritual senses are manifest, and we take that in the spiritual world. So we are not formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. This mantra verifies the fact that the living entity exists after the annihilation of the material body. Okay. In the material world, nature displays wonderful workmanship by creating varieties of bodies for the living beings according to their propensities for sense gratification. The living entity who wants to eat stool is given a material body that is quite suitable for eating stool, that of all. Now we may think, why would the living entity, no human being likes to eat stool, right, mostly. But there are, the people, there are so many different things they are. There is one, what is that? There is one coffee. Did I tell about that? From the elephant's poop. It is considered a delicacy. See, it says here. So people have gone to this extent. Poop coffee made from elephant dung. So basically, from the elephant dung means you're eating stool. Notably, black ivory coffee is a rare, expensive delicacy where coffee cherries are eaten by elephants, fermented in their digestive system with other foods, then collected from their dung, washed and roasted, resulting in a uniquely smoothly earthy and less bitter brew due to protein breaking down during digestion. So, of course, it's not directly the dung, but it's inside the dung. It is collected from their dung. It is washed. So, men can go to any extent, right? They eat so many things like this. So, and so many animals, they are eating rotten animals that want to taste different kinds of. In one lecture, Prabhupada was saying, in Japan or somewhere, they go so far just to taste some bat, bat which is rotten, and they serve the bat, but they will drive miles to eat that. So it's considered a delicacy. Bat or something, some other animal, Japan or some country. So man has many desires, so like that. So the living entity who wants to taste stool is given a material body that is quite suitable for eating stool, that of a hog. Similarly, one who wants to eat the flesh and blood of other animals may be given a tiger's body equipped with suitable teeth and claws. But the human being is not meant for eating flesh, nor does he have any desire to taste stool, even in the most aboriginal state. Human teeth are made. So this is considered aboriginal state. When human being has a desire to eat flesh, that's why they're called, what are the words used in the Vedic culture for meat eaters?
Chandala, Chandala.
Chandala, Malicha, Yavana. Yeah, something like that. Malicha. Okay. So these are considered very, nobody would think like eating rotten meat as a delicacy. Prabhupada is saying that. Even in the most aboriginal state, human teeth are so made that they can chew and cut fruit and vegetables, although there are two canine teeth, so that primitive humans can eat flesh if they so desire. Yeah, but with that canine teeth also, you cannot directly, without processing meat, you cannot. But in any case, the material bodies of all animals and men are foreign to living entity. They change according to the living entity's desire for sense gratification. In the cycle of evolution, the living entity changes bodies one after another. So we have been through so many forms of life. When the world was full of water, the living entity took an aquatic form. Jalajanavalakkhani, that's first. Then Sthavara. Then he passed to vegetable life. Sthavara Laksha Vimshati. That's Sthavara means trees, vegetables, like that. Then he came to from vegetable life, Krimayo, Rudra Sankhyaka. So that is worm's life. Then from worm life to bird life, Pakshinam Dashalakshanam. Then from bird life to animal life, Pashavatrim Shalakshani. And from animal life to the human form. The highest developed form is this human form when it is possessed of a full sense of spiritual knowledge. And in human beings also, Chatur Lakhani Manava. There are different kinds of human beings. According to the modes of nature they are affected by. So there are so many different human beings with different mentalities. So when you have spiritual inclination, then you are on the higher, you are amongst the higher human beings. When you have spiritual inclination, and when you become Krishna conscious, pure devotee, then you are the highest, at the highest evolved stage of consciousness. We say, right, there are 5 stages of consciousness: covered consciousness, shrunken consciousness, budding consciousness, partially bloomed consciousness, and fully bloomed consciousness. So fully bloomed consciousness, covered consciousness is trees, shrunken consciousness is animals. Then budding consciousness or bud consciousness is like human stage, in which it can bloom further and it can bloom even more, like that. So fully bloomed consciousness, that is considered Krishna consciousness. So we all have a software running on our mind, and certain consciousness we have. But we can change that consciousness. How we can change the consciousness? I can only see Karuna Mataji. Yeah. How can we change the consciousness?
By chanting, hearing, by serving Krishna.
Main thing is you can change your consciousness by association. So you can change your consciousness by association with those who are in higher consciousness. So that's why we want to associate with those who are Krishna conscious, pure devotees. So because by their association, we will become Krishna conscious. So that is the main thing of association, is to change our consciousness. So we can also become more inclined to spirituality, like that. And if we associate with those who are in lower consciousness, that's why we are not supposed to keep animals as pets in the house, because they are considered to be in lower consciousness. And if you associate, because they're in the bodily, those who are in bodily consciousness are in lower consciousness. Those who are thinking they are the body, they are in lower consciousness of life. And if we associate with those who are thinking they are the body, then we will also come into the bodily conception of life. So we want to associate with those who are thinking themselves that they're not the body, they're spirit souls and they're servant of Krishna. So like that. So we can, of course, we don't, association means what? When do we associate with somebody? When there is
Common desires.
transmission of desires.
Transmission.
When their desires are transmitted to you, then actually you are associating with them. If you, like Prabhupada came here, was he associating with all the hippies? Yes, he was associating, but the hippies' desires didn't transmit into Prabhupada, right? So he was not associating. Prabhupada's desires transmitted. So the devotees were associating with Prabhupada because Prabhupada's desires got transmitted into the hearts of all the hippies and everybody. So that is the transmission. So when we are affected by somebody's desires and their, character and everything, that's association. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Purusha prakriti stohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmashu. We get our different bodies in this material world based on our association with the modes of material nature, or with people who are in certain modes of material nature. So if we associate with those who are in mode of passion, then we will get passionate desires. So association is very important. Like in school, right? Why you want to put your child in a good school? Because in that school, other children are doing good in their studies. They are like, what you can say, they are inclined to study. And if your child is in that school, then he will also feel like, oh, I should also study. But if that's why people try to find houses in good school districts, because when their child goes to school, then he will get affected by the association. So they have ratings for schools. So in the same way, in devotee association, we have to associate with those who will inspire us on the spiritual path. Because everybody has to leave this world sooner or later. Who wants to Does anybody want to transmigrate perpetually in this cycle of birth and death? And it's going to get very bad in Kali Yuga. So we want to associate with those who will make us more Krishna conscious, not who will take our consciousness down. So they change according to the living entity's desire for sense. Now, if you are strong, then you don't care. You do, even if somebody is trying to take down. Prabhupada was living in the midst of all the hippies and everything they're doing, but his consciousness didn't get affected because he was on a higher platform, and he was a pure devotee, or he is a pure devotee. But if we are not, we are only weak, and we go into some association like that, then we will become swayed. So they change according to the living entity's desire for sense gratification. So body is not temporary. In the cycle of evolution, the living entity changes bodies one after another. When the world was full of water. Okay, we read all that. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body, which will be turned to ashes, and allow the air of life to merge into the eternal reservoir of air. So everybody has to prepare for the eventual departure, because it's going to come today or tomorrow. So everybody has to prepare for the exam. The living being's activities are performed within the body through the movements of different kinds of air, known in summary as pranavayu. The yogis generally study how to control the airs of the body. So there is incoming air, outgoing air, there is the air that circulates within the body, there are apana, samana, like that, there are different bodies, air, and the soul is supposed to rise from one circle of air to another until it rises to the Brahmarandra, the highest circle. From the point, the perfect yogi can transfer himself to any planet he likes. The process is to give up one material body and then enter into another. But the highest perfection of such changes occur only when the living entity is able to give up the material body altogether, as suggested in this mantra, and enter into spiritual atmosphere, where he can develop a completely different type of body, a spiritual body, which never has to meet death or change. Okay, so any comments on this word? So yogis also try to go from one planet to another. But this is not Brahma Bhuvana Loka. What's the verse?
Brahma bhuvanarlokaha punaravartino Arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate.
Even if you go to Brahmalok or any planet, anywhere, it is all misery. So, because wherein repeated birth and death takes place, Krishna says like that. Of course, in the pure devotees, those who are pure devotees, they don't want liberation because they only want to serve Krishna. You cannot get liberated until you have bhakti. So bhakti is the main thing. Bilva Mangal Thakur says, bhakti stands with folded hands. Or not bhakti, mukti. Mukti stands with folded hands for a devotee. Bhakti stvai sthira tarat bhagwan yadi shad. Bhakti, with bhakti, mukti is automatically achieved. So it is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If I become steady in devotional service, I will see the beautiful form of the Lord. And Bhakti stvai sthira tara bhagwan yadi syat devena falati divya kishora murti mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate asman. When Dhruva Maharaj left, he stepped on the head of death, they say, and boarded the chariot back to Vaikuntha, the plane. So mukti is automatically serving. And also not only mukti, dharma, artha, kama, gataya, samaya, pratiksha. Pratiksha means they are waiting to serve a devotee. Everything, dharma, artha, kama, everything can be achieved like that. Okay, so ultimately we have to become pure devotees. Or at least when we serve, pure devotee means one who does uninterrupted, unmotivated service to please the Supreme Lord. So we have to become pure devotees. That's the goal. And whenever we do service, we have to do with this consciousness that I'm doing it to please Srila Prabhupada. I'm doing it to please Srila Prabhupada. I'm doing it to please Krishna. So that is what we are supposed to do. We're not doing it to get some mileage out of devotional service. So that kind of devotional service will attract Krishna. Because Krishna is looking at your heart. And you are doing it only to please Krishna, then Krishna will become attracted and he will reciprocate with you. And that reciprocation will result in ananda, in bliss. So pure devotional service gives you, puts you in a state of condensed bliss. There are 6 symptoms of devotional service. Your Sandrananda Visheshatma. You will get so much pleasure. If you do it in that mood, that I am doing it only to please Krishna. So it's an internal state. 2 people can be doing the same service, but there can be a whole different attitude in doing that service. And that is what Prabhupada says, the attitude in which you do devotional service, it reminds what?
Success.
Advancement of spirit.
Advancement.
Advancement. So what is why we are doing it? So that, because Krishna doesn't need anything. Of course, he gives credit, even if we do it mixed. Right? He just wants to give credit anyhow, but because he's so kind, just like that verse is there. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigamsa apayadapi asadhavi lebe gatim dhatri uchitam tattvanyam kam va dayalu sharanam vrajema. Uddhav is speaking this verse in the Bhagavatam. Oh, who I can worship? Krishna. Or Baki is Putana, sister of Bakasur, who came to kill him with an evil intention in the form of a nurse, Dhatri. Or she was given the liberation of a nurse in the spiritual world. She came also as a nurse, you could say mother, in the role of a mother, but with envy. But Krishna gave her the liberation. So Krishna is very kind and very eager to reciprocate with all of us, because we are all his part and parcel. And that's why Krishna does not tolerate. He loves all the animals and everybody because everybody is his child. So I shared this in our morning call, one video from Prabhupada, where he was saying, if you kill a fly, then you are responsible. Why you are responsible? You may say, well, the fly was disturbing me, so I killed it. Then Prabhupada gave the analogy that if some human being, you say, I killed him because he was disturbing me. He was little, annoying me, so I killed him. Then in the court, you'll be proclaimed as a murderer, right? You'll be proclaimed as a murderer. Why? You cannot say, but he was disturbing me, he was annoying me, so I killed him. But in the court, they'll say, no, you're a murderer. You've done a murder. You cannot kill like that. So Prabhupada was saying that even other living entities, not in human form, if they disturb you and you kill them, Krishna takes it very seriously. So, of course, we now how to practically apply, we have to think, but this is the thing, right? So Krishna loves all the living entities. And we should see, yes, this person is a spirit soul, and Krishna loves him very much, or her. They have just a female body or male body, whatever, or animal body, or a bird body. But internally, that person is a soul, and he's just like me. He or she is just like me. And just because of our karma, we have got different bodies. So in that way, we will become very God conscious, and we'll show mercy to all living entities. Dayaya sarva bhuteshu. Krishna says, Narad Muni says, if you want to satisfy the Lord, then you should show mercy to all living entities. Daya sarva bhuteshu. Then santushta yena kenava. I think we discussed this verse. Sarvendriyo pashatan pashantya cha. Sarvendriyo pashantya cha. Tushyatyashu janardana. Daya sarva bhuteshu means all living entities. Sarva bhuteshu, showing mercy. Santushtya yena kenava, by being satisfied. Sarve indriyo, all the indriyas. Upashantyacha. Upashantya means to control our senses. Tushyatyashu janardana. Tushyati means satisfied very quickly. Janardan. By showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other, and restricting the senses from sense enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardhan. So we should be kind to everybody else. And okay, so in the material world, material nature forces the living entity to change his body due to his different desires for sense gratification. These desires are represented in the various pieces of life, from germs to the most perfected material bodies, those of Brahma and the demigods. All of these living entities have bodies composed of matter in different shapes. The intelligent man sees oneness not in the variety of bodies, but in spiritual identity. So, not that our bodies are same, but inherently everybody is spiritual being. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi hastini. Shuni cheva svabhageja pandita samadarshina. The spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is the same, whether it's in the body of a hog or the body of a demigod. The living entity takes on different bodies according to his past pious and vicious activities, and pious and sinful activities. The human body is highly developed and has full consciousness. According to Bhagavad Gita 7:19, the most perfect man surrenders to the Lord after many, many lifetimes of cultivating knowledge. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Vasudev sarvamiti samadma sudurlabha. The culture of knowledge reaches perfection only when the knower comes to the point of surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Yeah, Krishna, I'm done. I've done everything. I have come to you now, Krishna. You please accept me. That's just Krishna. I'm yours. And I belong to you, Krishna. Mame vam jiva loke jiva. So and everybody belongs to you, right? Because Krishna is claiming that. So everybody is yours, Krishna. Otherwise, even after attaining knowledge of one's spiritual identity, if one does not come to the point of knowing that the living entities are eternal part and parcels of the whole and can never become the whole, one is to fall down again into the material atmosphere. So if the Ansha thinks that he is the whole, then he has to come. Indeed, one must fall down, even if he has become one with the Brahma Jyoti. Aruya krichena param padam tataha patanti adho anadrita yusmadam grahaya. In the prayers of the demigods, it is described that those who are Mayavadis, they think they have attained the highest liberation. Yanyar vindaksha vimukta maninas tvai ashta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya. They are thinking that they have attained the highest perfection. But because they are neglecting your personality, your form, your lotus feet, so they have to, even going to the Brahma Jyoti, they fall down. As you have learned from previous mantras, the Brahma Jyoti is emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord, is full of spiritual sparks that are individual entities with full sense of existence. Sometimes these living entities want to enjoy their senses and therefore they are placed in the material world to become false lords under the dictation of the senses. The desire for lordship is the material disease of the living being, for under the spell of sense enjoyment, it transmigrates through various bodies manifested in the material world. So these are our main disease in this material world. Prabhupada says it's a material disease, desire for lordship. Becoming one with the Brahma Jyoti does not represent mature knowledge. Only by surrendering unto the Lord completely and developing one sense of spiritual service does one reach the highest perfectional stage. In this mantra, the living entity prays to enter the spiritual kingdom of God after relinquishing his material body and material air. He wants to go back home. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death. So means whatever we are going to do now, we should do now, whatever Shubha Karya we want to do. Shubhasya Shigram. So because now is the time, if you want to do any activities, spiritual activities, of course, that's the highest. Then let us do it now, let us use, because one day the time will run out. Then we may think, oh, maybe I should have done more like this. So we should do whatever we have to do as if time is coming to an end soon. Then Prabhupada says you have to accelerate your devotional service. Accelerate. Time and tide wait for no man. So you have to accelerate your devotional service. And through that devotional service, you should accelerate the change of your consciousness. Because ultimately, it is not just doing, we have to change our consciousness. So that is, so somehow or other, yena kena prakarena, mana Krishna niveshayat. Somehow or other, we have to bring the mind to Krishna. So, and we have to make prayers to the Lord frequently so that we don't, forget him. Prabhupada said, right, one is a prayer to Krishna. Krishna, you can send me anywhere. You can send me to hell or anywhere. But what is the prayer? He says, always remind me.
Yeah, let me not forget you.
Let me not forget you, because you are seated in my heart as the super soul. Always remind me to chant Hare Krishna. He said like that. Yeah. Please do not put me into forgetfulness. Somewhere I read this. I pulled it up. My dear Krishna, please remind me to always chant your holy name. Prabhupada, simply our prayer should be, my dear Krishna, please remind me to always chant your holy name. Please do not put me into forgetfulness. You are sitting within me as super soul. Krishna is in our heart. So you can put me into forgetfulness or into remembering you. So please do not put me into forgetfulness. Please always remind me to chant. Even you send me into hell, it doesn't matter. Just so long, I can always chant Hare Krishna. But of course, when we chant Hare Krishna, we may not be remembering Krishna. But if we chant attentively, then naturally Krishna's form will manifest. Nam, Rup, Gun, Leela, all these things will come from the So Prabhupada said, most important thing in chanting is the hearing. Most important thing in chanting is the hearing. So we have to hear the holy name, just like we see the deity. We see with our eyes. So with our ears, we hear. This sound is Krishna. So sound can be perceived through the ear. You cannot perceive sound with your eyes. Just as deity, you see, you take darshan and you see the deity with your eyes. You don't see with your ears. Similarly, the sound, Krishna is also the sound, just as Krishna is the deity, Krishna is also the sound. And the sound can be perceived through the ears. So most important is the hearing. So, like there is a nice quote from Prabhupada. This chanting should be done early in the morning with full concentration, preferably in the Brahma Muhurat, he said. And there's a quote like that. Yeah. For some reason, I cannot open some website. It's called Desire Tree. But I'll find the quote. Yeah. He says, this is quote from Prabhupada. Chanting japa should be done early in the morning with full concentration, preferably during the Brahma Muhurat time. Concentrate fully on the sound vibration of the mantra, pronouncing each name distinctly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And gradually, your speed in chanting will increase naturally. Do not worry so much about chanting fast. Most important is the hearing. So if you chant fast but you cannot hear, then that's not good. You have to hear every word of the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that's why we don't have to be like we have discussed this before. We are in the mode of like our life in cities is passionate, right? One thing after another. So we want to finish this so we can go to the next thing. No, when you chant, you think you have all the time in the world. I will chant nicely. Not that I have to finish somehow. That's mode of passion, right? I have to do this, then I have to do this, I have to do this. I'm always running. We may have to do, like we may have to go to work or things like that and all this. But so then you give yourself enough time, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, whatever it takes to chant nicely. And you only know if you heard the mantra. So sometimes some person say, I chant 16 rounds in 1 hour. I don't know, it's possible. I can't say for anybody, but 1 hour I finished 16 rounds, somebody was saying. So 1 hour, how you can finish 16 rounds? Then you have to record your chanting and see if you're pronouncing every word and every word you're hearing nicely also. So in this mantra, the living entity prays to the enter the spiritual kingdom or God after relinquishing his material body and material layer. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death with the full consciousness of his past deeds and of the ultimate goal. One who is completely. So next prayer, he's going to say, oh, I have done so many activities, I have done so many sins in my life. Please free me from the reaction to my past sins. So like that, he's saying the next prayer. So I don't think we'll be able to finish this whole purport, but tomorrow we'll finish it. So we'll end with this, just in this mantra, the living entity prays to the supreme spiritual kingdom to end the link. Okay. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death with full consciousness of his past deeds and of ultimate goal. One who is completely under the rule of material nature remembers the heinous activities he performed during the existence of his material body. And consequently, he gets another material body after death. The Bhagavad Gita 8.6 confirms this truth. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tantam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Thus the mind carries the living entity's propensities into the next life. Okay, so mind is very tricky. It can just focus on something you may have done, so but it can go at the time of death. Something else can, like mind, suddenly some thoughts come, right? It's like very tricky. You don't know where the mind will go. But of course, if you have done throughout our life, then Lord will take everything into account. It's not like just at the last moment. But we have to also try from our side to remember Krishna. How much time during the day we remember Krishna? We have to analyze for ourselves. We have to think, okay, how much time I remember? Okay, I'm doing service, everything, all right, I'm doing everything, but am I remembering Krishna also simultaneously? I'm chanting. Am I remembering Krishna's beautiful form? I'm remembering his activities. Of course, in one sense, it's non-different, the work you are doing for Krishna. But we have to, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Krishna says, first remember me and then fight. So remembrance is very important when we do any activity, because the whole thing is to fix the mind on Krishna. That is the whole idea. So we practice. Okay, so we'll stop here and bookmark this and continue tomorrow morning. Do you like to say anything?
I was just thinking that Krishna also in Bhagavad Gita, he asked about that. You give your mind, fix your mind. And many other verses also. So he knew that in the Kali Yuga, the mind is disturbed. So I cannot ask. So he also asked something very difficult, because mind is the one who's the cause of rotation in this world, migration. And Krishna asked that you just fix your mind. He don't ask that anything else, like in other ages. But yes, he asked them that. Give your mind.
And in the Chanchalam Hi Mana Krishna, which we read last Thursday with Kratu Prabhu in the temple, Prabhupada gives a nice description about the mind. Chanchalam Hi Mana Krishna, is that the verse we read last time? No, mind is restless. But here he says, and it is more difficult to capture the easiest way to control the mind as suggested by Lord Chaitanya is chanting Hare Krishna, the great mantra for deliverance in all humility. Means we cry and chant. And
Mantra means also, right, to control the mind. One means mind.
mantra means that delivers the mind. So by the sound vibration, the mind will be delivered. The spiritual sound vibration. Okay, where is the one we read last time? The mind.
Samshayam Mahabaho.
6-1.
Manodurnigraham chalam. Okay, mind is restless. That is before this. Yeah, this is the one. Mind is restless. Chanchalam Mana. Or some. Okay,
6-1.
undoubtedly.
6-1.
Undoubtedly. Yeah, that is the one we read. Okay. So this is the one. So he says in the Prabhupada says, okay. The more one eats, similarly by discharge of one. It is something like curing a disease by expert treatment. Okay, the more one eats while hungry, the more one feels satisfaction and strength. Similarly, by discharge of devotional service, one feels transcendental satisfaction as the mind becomes detached from material objectives. It is something like curing a disease by expert treatment and appropriate diet. Hearing of the transcendental activities of Lord Krishna is therefore the expert treatment for the bad mind. So hearing about Krishna means Bhagavad Gita, his pastimes or his message, either way. Hearing of the transcendental activities of Lord Krishna is therefore the expert treatment for the mad mind. So we have to hear more. There are so many classes, and we have to hear. This way we can keep our mind on Krishna. Okay, anything else? We will go to this tomorrow. We'll see the overview. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.